Yeah, so I mean, we've definitely had an impressive move on Bitcoin, right? So I mean, Bitcoin has finally woken up. I think that you see a lot of this hype building very, very quickly, which for me is a little bit of a concern, right? I've been through many bear markets in my 25 plus years of trading, and it's very rare that a bear market ends with euphoria coming in so quickly. Usually the first 10, 20, 30% after a bear market, investors are very, very skeptical. And that's not what I'm seeing this time. And that makes me a little nervous, to be honest. It does. I think that people were just kind of biding their time and they're just jumping back on the bandwagon. I'm seeing incredible pumping across all social media platforms. There hasn't been any change. You could argue that the Fed is coming to the end of their hiking cycle, but that doesn't mean interest rates are going to go back down, right? I mean, we figure the Fed funds policy level is going to remain at 5-ish% for most of 2023. So you don't have that dropping of rates that can stimulate kind of the Bitcoin surge again, like past bear markets ending, nor do you have quantitative easing going on, both of which are unlikely to come in this year. So for me, this is very classic of a bear market rally, and that's why I'm a little skeptical. I had some longs going into this. I was talking about a potential breakout. We've gotten that, but I always said it would be a breakout that would get bulls to kind of jump back on the ship, but it probably is a shorter-lived bull market run, intra-bear market, right? So let me show my charts here because I think there's some cool things to look at. So number one, if we see this chart here, right? This is the bull run that we've just experienced. Incredible, right? I mean, we haven't experienced this in quite some time, but number one, I mean, it looks big, but if we zoom out on the chart, I think it's important to keep it in perspective, right? This is what we're talking about. This is what's getting all the hype, is this move up in Bitcoin. And again, like you said, very normal because people had been kind of lulled to sleep with no volatility. I think we had the lowest volatility in Bitcoin history. So it was kind of dictating something would wake things up. But again, you have to look at, okay, this is the down market and this is where we are right now. Is it anything yet to get excited about? And I'm going to tell you where I'm going to get a little bit excited. If we were to take out this high right here, which is the beginning of the FTX collapse, where we saw FTX, and all the fraud and all that come to light, that's where, if we could get above that psychologically, I think that would be a positive for Bitcoin. So that's so important because people will see an intraday move above or even a close above, get very excited, and then they'll wonder why price gets slammed back down. So you want to see price get above and actually stay there and consolidate there, right? And again, if you look at where Bitcoin has stalled here, it's right at that level. Now, let's talk psychology of the markets, because this will be a great educational part, is that why do these levels have so much resistance? And the answer is this. Over here, you had choppy sideways to up move. You started to make moves to the upside right here, right here. A lot of people were buying Bitcoin. And then all of a sudden, that floor got just pulled out from under them. And they saw their accounts drop by 25, 35, 45%. In some altcoin cases, it was 50%. And so what happens is when price goes back there, those people that saw their 10,000 account at 5,000, they're made whole again. And there's this psychological thing about saying, okay, I'm back to break even. Let me get out. Let me just walk away at this point. And that's why you have the technical resistance right at that level. So to me, this is the level I'm watching, right around 21,500. Let's see in the next few days what happens. I actually put out a short signal on Ethereum yesterday when we were above 1550. I think we're in a position to see a pullback here. Yeah, and you could see that. I mean, it was just incredible the last couple days, but especially yesterday, how you could see the shorts just where price went up $100 on Bitcoin in a matter of seconds because it was that short covering just squeezing going on. And again, that's the key, is that, if you look at the stock market, and you've been around for a long time, Greg, is that, you see these bear market rallies that are they call them rip your face off rallies because they're so intense and they get so much excitement from bulls. But again, if you look at the stock market, we've had moves like that. And in fact, I showed some charts earlier today. I posted one on Twitter, but basically what it was showing is that since Tesla has topped out, it had moves of 35%, 64%, 50%, and then even down here, you're at 18%, where it's, here we are with Bitcoin up, 25, 30% off of the lows. I mean, that kind of falls right in the midst of these moves that we've seen in Tesla. And I do liken Tesla and the type of people that are investing in Tesla as the same that kind of get involved in Bitcoin and kind of have that mentality. So I think it's important. You could look at any stock. I mean, you could look at Apple, Amazon, a lot of them have these bear market rallies where they jump 30, 40, even 50%, but then ultimately find themselves making new lows. And so I would just caution people out there. Yes, yes, it would be great to know that Bitcoin has made a low pivot and maybe we're starting to head up, but I wouldn't get too excited just yet. Being someone who's been through multiple cycles like this and not just zero cycles like so many investors, you have to be a little wary. I mean, to see a market drop from 5,000 down to 800 on an index like the NASDAQ, I mean, that's pretty scary. And I think it's so interesting because I think we've seen some of these, like the Zooms and some of these other stocks, they've started to kind of bottom out, or at least it looks like that. But now you've been seeing like Apple rolling over a little bit more, some of the large caps starting to kind of be and to me, that's the final cycle of a downward move, is where you finally catch up to the strongest. The strongest finally get decimated. And I think that point is such an important point to make, is that the Fed does not want to see crypto rallying back strong. The Fed does not want to see the stock market up significantly. In fact, I think it was 2 meetings ago where the initial statement from the Fed came out and the markets ripped up, and then Jerome Powell went to his press conference and he just said you could see him almost like looking at the market on his phone and then being like, oh, I don't want to rally, and then he just hammered the markets, and then the markets collapsed below that. So just keep that in mind, is that to get inflation under control, you can't have asset prices ripping higher, because the wealth effect takes over and everyone feels wealthier. They'll go spend more money, creating more issues.
To watch the full interview, check out the link in the description. If you are new to the channel and not subscribed, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any videos.